you might have some confusion in your mind, and especially BA3, who will be bound to give the exam and the results will be out. But before that, we have opened our PG admission forms already. It's available in the office. Many of you have already applied for it, as I saw today. So you all are must be more clear about what career options you have if you do your post graduation in economics, because naturally if you will do your BA3 with economics, you will be facilitated more in terms of post graduation in economics and academic career in economics, which you can avail of. So I'll be telling you all that so that you don't have any confusion in your mind, and if you have any question in your mind for which you want to clarify, the session will be open once I complete my speech to you. This first slide talks about the utility and the importance of the subject of economics. That because many of you have, in the conversation which we have from time to time in the lockdown period, have told me that you thought initially when you were coming in BA1 that the economics is very tough and you don't get so many marks and those things. But then as they started attending the classes and looking at the utility of the subject, then they found it very useful. So in continuation with that, we will just revise that what is the importance of economics in our day-to-day life, as well as what is the job role of the economist, which has become important in this changed scenario of COVID-19 and after that also, and especially after the globalization period occurred in 1991 and new economic policy was introduced, this kind of subject has acquired too much importance in our career scene and employment scene also. So as I just want to refer to famous economist of the book of which you must have studied in your BA1 also, that is Paul A. Samuelson. Paul A. Samuelson has said a statement that like many of the people are going to, make the laws, and many of the people are going to finalize the treaties. But he said that till the time I am free economics textbooks, I find it more useful. So that is the economist perspective, that and he was a Nobel laureate also, as you all know. So he said that he doesn't care who writes a nation's laws or who creates it advanced treaties, if he can write economic textbooks. So the statement in itself conveys the importance of the economics from an economist's perspective. And beyond that, if you see this slide, it talks about its high utility, huge demand in the job market, and job opportunities are increased, as I already told you, because of the globalization and merging of the world economy. The role of economist has gained too much importance in the employment market also. Next slide. Now, before we talk about this slide, I just want to continue with the essence of economics, that what economics is about. You must have studied lot of definitions given by economists from time to time, Adam Smith, Robbins, Marshall, which they talked about from time to time. But in a general way, if you talk about economics, economics is divided into two kinds of sciences. One is your pure science and one is your social science. So if you see arts may, this is the only subject which has been given the position of a science. Otherwise, all the other subjects are considered to be humanities. So that's the basic difference, and which gives it too much importance is that economics is considered to be a pure science, as well as it's also called a social science. Pure science means that it's based on scientific facts, it's based on data, it's based on analysis of data through statistical tools, mathematical tools, and that is why it's considered to be pure science. And then social science, because here when you want to do an experiment like a science subject, physics, chemistry, you don't have to go in a lab condition and conduct the experiment, but the whole society is considered to be a lab for you. And then you interview the people, you survey the people, like many of you have done it in the form of virtual internship, which we did. So this is how the whole society becomes a lab. And then on the basis of those observations, through behavior of the people, through the responses of the people, we our hypothesis and make a conclusion. So that is why economics is considered to be two types of sciences. One is pure science and the other is social science. So this is how you can, get more explanation of the subject of economics. And there comes the various kinds of, branches of economics. Some of you have studied already, like microeconomics, macroeconomics, and specializations like applied economics. Behavioral economics has now gained very much importance, because how human psychology affects the economic decision is a part of behavioral economics. So that has also become very important now. And COVID scenario. So behavioral economics is also one branch of economics which has gained economic importance. Then developmental economics is one area which is always, in, and which is always in the news for one issue or the other. You always try to focus on how to improve our economy, which is an underdeveloped or developing economy, and compare it with the other economies. Like today only I was reading in the newspaper that when India compared to Singapore, India's GDP is in minus. So that's how the development economics talks about the development of a country. What are the strategies, what are the issues which become vital, like now health has become very important, employment has become an important area, the education of the people have become important. So how you are going to, strategize and plan those sectors is also one of the jobs of an economist. So that is how the development economics talks about these vital issues which have become important. Then rural economics is also one of the branches of economics, where you talk about agriculture based economy. Like India, as soon as you talk about India, 75% people are based on agriculture structure. So that is why this agrarian economy, the rural economics also become important, that how you are going to uplift the employment in the rural areas. International economics is another branch which is important, with the trade and services of goods and services. So that is international economics, which is also one another branch which is very important. Labor economics is also has gained too much important, especially in the COVID scenario. You have seen lot of migrant laborers coming from back to their home states and countries. So these are there again you talk about labor economics and try to find out some solutions from this branch of economics. Managerial economics is another branch which covers the study of economic theories, logistics, tools. Like Six Sigma approach is one of the things which we did in the internship. That is a part of managerial economics. Then econometrics. Econometrics becomes very important. Some of you might have this question in mind, that is it necessary to have maths or statistics background for doing the PG in economics? Definitely, because like in Lucknow University, you have this option of doing it or not. Like there is an elective in the BA3, but in MA, as soon as you come in the PG, you have to have the knowledge of econometrics. Econometrics is a particular branch of economics. which makes the use of analytical tools and mathematical tools to solve the problems, economic problems. So that is why econometrics is also taught at the post graduation level. So these are some of the branches of economics which you are studying at one level or the other, like BA1, in BA2, in BA3, then in PG1, PG2. These all the branches are covered except I think managerial economics, because that becomes a part of the management. So this is how I just wanted to tell you more about these branches, because you might be hearing them some way or the other, and you must be clear about. And these are the branches which tell us that there is a broad scope of this subject, wide scope of this subject. Whether you read a newspaper, whether you listen to a TV news, whether you talk on social media, everywhere you will find some or the other concept there. So you must be having some clarity in your mind that what they are talking about. Now, with that important subject like economics, we come to the job opportunities, because for you as a student, I think this area becomes very important, that when you take subject, you just don't take it because your parents have forced you, or because your relative was doing it, or your friends are have taken this subject, so I should also take this subject. Always in BA3, if you are choosing a subject, that should have a longer utility for your career and for your future, so that you can build up your career also, and you can contribute to nation building also. So that is why we are coming to this these job opportunities in brief for you. Like the first, obviously, is the teaching profession, which is very noble profession. And teaching is done at two levels, either at school level, or at a higher education level, like we are doing it at the undergraduate or the postgraduate level. So you must be already knowing that for the school level, if you talk about economics, economics is only there for 11th and 12th. So already the economics teachers are in huge demand in comparison to basic education. So obviously they are in high demand, and if you do your B.Ed successfully, and if you have MA, then nobody can you a job like Kendriya Vidyalaya and Navodaya Vidyalaya. These are the government teaching jobs available for the students who want to teach the smaller kids or the 11th, 12th people. Now, for the MA or undergraduate students, you must have MA in economics with at least 55% marks. So, please remember this, that you have to be regular in the classes, and you have to try to have more than this, perform better. A candidate can pursue PhD. Now there are two qualifications for the teacher who do a teaching profession, go enter into the teaching profession at the higher education sector. Either she has to have a PhD, that means you have to do your MA, and then you have to apply for PhD, give the entrance, and then whatever regulations like 6 months coursework and these things you have to do. And then you are awarded a PhD where a doctor is prefixed to your name, and then you are eligible to apply and teach the higher education students. And the second is UGC NET examination. University Grants Commission, as you already know, is a body which is run as parallel to MHRD, and they make all the policies, rules, regulations for the higher education teachers. So they conduct national eligibility test, which is popularly known as NET exam. And NET exam is conducted twice a year, in June and in December. This time I think it was not held in June, but otherwise it's offline test which is conducted everywhere, like in Lucknow University conducts. So they conduct this national eligibility test, and if you qualify it, you are eligible for the lecturership in the higher education sector, as well as there is another class also. If you have higher score in there, then you can apply for the fellowship. So net is called JRF, that is called Junior Research Fellows. So you will be eligible to get per month some fellowship, which is I think around just now 28,000 or something, and then you can finish off your PhD with that fellowship. So that is how the UGC does that. And if you don't want to have that fellowship, then you can simply apply for eligibility for lecturership exam, and if you qualify, then you can start teaching straight away in an educational institute. So that is how the teaching profession is open for everybody in economics here. The other option, which is very popular and which is a group A service, civil service, is Indian Economic Service. I have already written it on the board. If you see, IES oblique ISS. IES is Indian Economic Service, and Indian Statistical Service. They are parallelly held, and this is called Group A Civil Service exam, and the eligibility for this is post graduation in economics or business economics or statistics. So if you do your ME in economics with minimum 55%, you can prepare for this exam, and this is equivalent to IAS exam. And if you qualify this, then you can be given recruitment in all the government departments like planning commission, planning boards, and many of the people who are appointed here or who qualify this exam can go for deputation to UN bodies like UNDP, United Nations Development Program, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, Food Agriculture Organization, UNICEF. So lot of UN bodies are there where you can be sent on deputation if you qualify this IES exam. Now the basic age for IES exam is 21 to 30 years, and for this you have to have you have to have PG in economics. That is the basic condition for IES. Like this year 2020, they don't have a vacancy for IES, but they have a vacancy for ISS. So you can check it on the website through Google, and you will obviously know. But every year they have this kind of All India exam where if you do your PG, then you can be eligible for and qualify the exam. Next slide. Banking services within the public sector. Reserve Bank of India. Please write down the website of RBI, rbi.org.in. If you go to this website of Reserve Bank of India, you can see various job positions there. RBI has, various summer placements also, summer internships also, several scholarships also. So just advices, keep on checking this website whenever if you are interested in economics, and please check this website regularly. You can have summer internships there, you can have scholarships, fellowships there. You must be updating your information from their website. And then for these exams which they have, there is one exam called Officers in Grade B. Officers in Grade B is also a class 1 job, and for this you can check in the website of RBI. Officers in Grade B. This is direct recruitment. This is under direct recruitment, officers in Grade B, where it is an online exam firstly, which is called phase 1 exam, which is based on MCQ pattern, multiple choice questions. That is phase 1, where you have the similar pattern as you have in MBA exam, like GK, reasoning, quantity, English. So these 4 areas are asked, and you qualify the phase 1 through the online MCQ exam. Once you qualify the phase 1, then you are eligible to sit for phase 2 exam. The papers. The first paper is English, where they evaluate your writing skills. Paper 2 is your economic and social issues, which you must be, having knowledge to. And the third paper is of economics, statistics, and finance. So that way you can see in phase 2, paper 2 and paper 3, both are covered with the knowledge of economics. And especially if you do your PG in economics, or if you have done at least your third year or graduation specialization with economics, you can qualify here. And the basic eligibility for these RI direct recruitment exam for research officers are 60% in UG exam. So you must be aiming for 60% at least in your BA3. If you have less than that, you cannot apply for this. So keep that in mind. And then also in 12th and 10th. So, like lot of information is there on the website. So you can, all are well equipped with social media. You can go on the website and see that. And I have told you already the website. But this is one of the major employer of the economics students, that is Bank of India, which is our central bank of the country. Then you have several other public sector banks also. Public sector banks, nationalized banks, which you already know which are the nationalized banks. So they advertise from time to time IBPS. IBPS is your Institute of Banking and Personal Selection. That is the centralized body which conducts the banking examinations, IBPS. And banks, three kinds of vacancies for the economic students. One is your clerical grade, which you can apply for your class 12th. Then the other is your probationary officer exam, which is also class 1 job. And the third is your specialist officer's job. Specialist officer may advertise from time to time for the role of economists, who plans the banking model, who strategizes the banking policies, monetary policy, which you have studied. So economist job is also there in the specialist cadre jobs which they advertise. So you must be updating your knowledge with the IBPS website, which is Institute of Banking and Personal Selection, which advertises from time to time the vacancies in the banks, which are commercial banks or government owned banks. And now, since all the things are being done online, lot of recruitments are taking place for the youngsters, because the old ones are not well equipped with the online technologies and those. So those who there are so many vacancies being advertised, so you have to update yourself with that. But you can do it only once you have the specialization in economics and you have a thorough knowledge the papers related to economics. Then the private and foreign banks, obviously there are so many private banks which recruit economists and economic students. Lot of our alumni who have done their MA in economics from IT college are positioned in the private banks also, as well as nationalized banks also. So if you want to have any kind of information, we can connect you with them. And we will try to get them our darshan program slowly and simultaneously, so that you can get a feel of. Many of them are working in ICICI, many of them are working in Reliance Networks, some of them are working in Bajaj Allianz, some of them are working in Punjab National Bank. So that way openings are there if you have done economics and you want to apply for banking services. Next, work as a consultant. Many of the organizations want the economic students as a consultant. Like many of you must have attended that Pragya Sharma's interactive session, which we did in the lockdown period. She did her MA in economics from IT college. Then she went to Bhimrao Ambedkar University. She did her PhD from there. And simultaneously, she applied for a job as a consultant in the National Green Tribunal. National Green Tribunal has emerged as a body to handle the environmental problems. So, Environment Directorate is, one of the potential employer for the jobs. So she sought a job there, and it is a government job, and she is working as a consultant. So this is one example, which is a real testimony of a person who is there, and you can connect with her and ask her how to apply for it. But only you can do it once basic eligibility of doing your graduation and post graduation in economics. Many of the other NGOs, like non-government organizations, very big non-government organizations, also want economics and economists as a consultant. In the back slide, you have seen, Diksha, can you just back the slide? You can see here, National Council of Applied Economic Research, New Delhi, Indian Council of Social Science Research, Institute of Economic Growth, Niti Aayog, है ना? And many of the other, like Oxfam and your many NGOs are there, UNICEF. They all want the people in the economic, and their specialization helps them. So they recruit the students as a consultant for them. Now, please, next slide. Then consultant, when you talk about, you have the NGOs and the organizations within India, as well as you have international bodies also. For example, ILO, International Labor Organization. You will have to, just do a Google search of the names, and you will find that lot of economics positions are there. ILO, International Labor Organizations, UNCTAD, United Nations International Organization of Conference, Trade and Development. That is also one of the UN agencies. And I have already told you so many UN agencies on the board. So you can apply there as a consultant if you are, if you have done your post-graduation economics. Entrepreneurship, obviously, is one of the emerging areas now with the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our Honorable Prime Minister wants that this kind of skills and entrepreneurship abilities are going to be developed among the students, so that they are not employees, but they become the potential employers for everybody. And for becoming an employer, you need to have the basic economics, and in your mind, you must have the financial accounting in your knowledge base. You must have the market knowledge in your understanding. Only then you can be a successful entrepreneur, and only then you can be a successful business woman. So that is why entrepreneurship, if you want to do that, if you have your own business, or if you want to start your startup, then in that case also, economics is the only subject which gives you these kinds of understanding of these kinds of vital concepts which are important for you. Civil services is obviously a traditional choice of all the bright students, which is provincial service, civil services PCS, and all India civil services IAS. So many of the students want to ask that, I got a message day before yesterday from a student that I want to appear for civil services. So ma'am, I have taken economics, education and pol science. Now what subject should I take? In first year, she's getting admitted. So I told her that, see, economics is everywhere. Even if you are not wanting it to be an optional subject, because a lot of mathematics and statistics is involved there, you will have to do economics for your general studies paper, which is called prelims exam. As you already know, civil services is at 3 stages: prelims, then mains, then interview. Obviously, prelims you have to qualify first. For this, you have to appear and qualify the general studies paper. And for general studies paper, you must be well acquainted with the newspaper daily. One obvious choice is, if you want to brush up your general studies for civil services, the best technique is be prepared to read the newspaper daily. That is the first hand information which you get. And you cannot, because many of the coaching institutes say that they are doing general studies, but I don't agree with them, because general studies is not one thing which you can do in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, or all of a sudden. You will have to do it for 1 year. You get the time for preparation, and for that you must be very regular with the newspaper, at least Hindu, which I always suggest to the civil aspirants, as well as one of the daily newspaper which you get from the local newspaper. So that is how you build up the knowledge base for general studies. And there are so many subjects which are there in general studies, and like the pattern changes. Sometime more questions from economics and less from geography, sometime less from economics, more from geography. But that for the last 10 years have shown that the economics has been gaining too much importance, and a lot of practical questions are being asked. So you must be having it in a curriculum which you can regularly study. Not that you are just studying, you are just taking a general studies mota sa kitab before your exam and do it. You will have to have a जनरल कोर्स फ्रेमवर्क इन योर माइंड. जैसे किसी ने अगर BA1 में ये पढ़ा, फिर BA2 में पढ़ा, फिर BA3 में पढ़ा, तो उसका जो बेस होगा इकोनॉमिक्स का, वो डेफिनेटली बेटर होगा उन लोगों से जिनके पास इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं थी, या जो BSc कर रहे थे, या जो कुछ और कर रहे थे, किसी और सब्जेक्ट से BA कर रहे थे, और अब उनको इकोनॉमिक्स अगर पढ़नी पड़े तो यू माइट थिंक कि हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट इज टू क्वालिफाई दैट एग्जाम. So that is how I just want to tell you that. And optional, definitely, since economics is one of very demanded subject by the our government also. Like you can see lot of political leaders, lot of bureaucrats have the base of economics and law. Two are very, very important for becoming a successful administrator. So that is why this subject again becomes very important. MBA, as many of you are preparing for CAT and sometime bunk your classes also for the coaching institutes. So master in business administration, again you must be having the knowledge of basic fundamentals of economics, like what is gold standard, what is the world of business, what is the economic environment of business, and 4 papers like I already told you in RBI. Similar papers are there in MBA, but the quicker methods have to be adopted because it's a time management also which matters in CAT examination, and then GMAT also is there. So that is how the masters in business administration is also one of the careers. But what I feel is that if you do your MBA just after BA, it becomes very constrained kind of career. Because then it's very specialist kind of job, and if you don't have those openings, like in the post COVID के अभी तो कोविड सिनेरियो ही चल, अगर हम इसमें एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात करें तो बहुत सारे जॉब्स कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में कम हो गए हैं. एंड इन दैट केस अगर आप बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन या MBA के डिमांड की बात करें तो काफी कम हो गई है. सो इन दैट केस इट्स बेटर दैट यू कीप ऑल योर ऑप्शंस ओपन, whether it's RBI, whether it's NGOs, whether it's government departments, whether it's Niti Aayog, whether it's banks, so that if one fails, you can go anywhere else. So that is how I feel that doing MA in economics gives you more options than MBA, which is very specifically one line of career where you cannot, divert yourself. Next, Diksha, of the emerging jobs, job profiles for the economic students, which are not traditional jobs, but which are emerging jobs for the people. Like I told you already, some branches like rural economics, तो agriculture economist की jobs निकलती हैं, जैसे नाबार्ड है, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So they advertise these posts for the economics students, and agriculture economics is one of the electives which you study in post graduation in economics. How you can apply for it if you show that you have specialized in your PG in this paper, so obviously you will be a desired lawyer. देन इंटरनेशनल इकोनॉमिस्ट, इंटरनेशनल के भी आप पेपर्स पढ़ते हैं वहाँ पे. इंडस्ट्रियल इकोनॉमिक्स भी इस बार से BA3 में इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, जो यूनिवर्सिटी का करिकुलम आया है. लेबर इकोनॉमिक्स, लेबर इकोनॉमिस्ट इज ऑल्सो देयर in terms of labor economics when you study. Then investment analyst, and these are some of the financial jobs, financial market jobs. If you have interest in financial market accounting, or if you are simultaneously pursuing some CA or ICWA courses part time, then you can very well apply for all these jobs also, which are written here, like financial risk analyst or equity analyst, cost accountant. So obviously there is no dearth of jobs for the economics graduates and postgraduates.